Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. I don't know how much this is gonna reach to people, but I'm here to talk about Henry Danger the movie. If you don't know what Henry Danger is, well, it's a show that was produced by Dan Schneider. Although he was not involved with the last couple seasons of the show, because of reasons that you know about. He was booted from the show. Out of all of his produced shows, I think this and Game Shakers were the last two that he did. I think they were the least offensive of the ones. Victoria's and Sam and Cat got overly just with the feet and everything. They don't really do much with these two. But you don't know what Henry Danger is. Henry Danger is a show that came out in 2014, so it's over 10 years old now. And it is that the superhero hires a kid to be his sidekick. Realistic, yes. And it's more of a satire of superheroes than it is actually a superhero show. They'll do some superhero things, but most of the time, especially as the show's run kept going, it just became goofier and goofier and goofier. There's episodes that just, well, there's two episodes in particular that pop in my head right now. Man of the House, where the episode where the plot is that Henry's mom's purse is stolen. So Captain Man comes to the rescue, but because he has a crush on Henry's mom, he decides that the best way for him to handle the situation is to live in Henry's house to protect them. And he becomes like a surrogate dad because the dad is on vacation or on a business trip for the remainder of this episode, and he basically takes over the house and refuses this is why I don't like this episode. He refuses to do anything about the missing purse. When Henry and Charlotte, who is his best friend, or one of his best friends, they talk to him about it, he's like, no. And, even up to the point they find the person who stole the purse, bring him into the house, and Captain Man's response to this is to give him the purse back and tell him to leave because he doesn't want to stop doing this. I hate that episode. I do. There's another whole episode where they fight this stupid criminal named Jeff inside an old video store, and then Captain Man tells Henry to pick up the the videos that fell, and he falls in a hole. And instead of helping him, he laughs at him, and he falls in a hole. And the whole episode, they're just stuck in the holes. Yeah, that's the whole episode. I don't even think it's a clip show or anything. It's just, nah. I don't know. That goofier. I'll tell you what, I said this when I was watching this movie. This is a 2-hour movie with commercials. And in this 2-hour movie, there's more crime fighting in this than the entire series. And I'm not. So, spoiler alert for the finale of the show. I don't care for the finale of Henry Danger because they cared more about setting up the spin-off Danger Force. Because throughout the last few episodes of the show, they're introducing these characters, Miles, Bose, wasn't it Tamika or something, and this one chick who didn't have a phone. That was her plot, is that her phone was stolen. She never gets a new one. She never gets it back. She never gets a new one. And it's a running joke throughout that show, that whatever episodes we watched, she still doesn't have a phone. And I'm like, what family is this that they didn't get her a new phone? She's a superhero. Ray didn't give her a new phone? No. But they were more about setting up this spin-off, giving them new powers, than it was about a send-off to the entire show. Because Henry was the only one that was leaving. Jason Owen was leaving the show. And also his friends and his sister, who is younger than him, yet also graduated high school. I don't know. She also has a driver's license. And she's like, 13 when the show ends? 15, 13, 14? She's not old enough to drive. I think she's the same age Henry was when the show started. So, around that. She's like 13. Or whatever. So, in this explosive finale, Kid Danger dies. So to the world, Kid Danger is dead. Henry Hart is still alive, but Kid Danger is dead. So, yeah. So there's this little girl now in this movie whose name I do not remember. Um, is the Xbox hooked up and everything? Looks like it is. Hold on. I think the remote's in the bathroom. Why it's in there, I don't know, because the TV's not in there. So the story is that this little girl, she thinks the Kid Danger is dead. Yes, I was in my underwear. Shut up. She thinks the Kid Danger is dead, so she uses this machine she steals from Evil Corp, which isn't. It's from the show. So it's a machine that will, I don't know, bring him back. It's a reality distorted machine that will mess with reality and bring him back. This is still on the Three Amigos from last time I looked at this. Okay, hold on. And okay, we're gonna mute that so you don't hear that. Click, 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 click. I don't know who Henry Darger is, but the movie. All right. So she steals this a RAD device, reality altering device, and she uses it to what she thinks bring Kid Danger back from the dead. Her name is Missy. Missy Martin, super fan. So she uses it to bring Kid Danger back, and so when this movie started, it starts in Dystopia, which is a town in there. It's where he's at when he makes his appearance at Danger Force. He's in Dystopia fighting crime with Jasper. Oh yeah, by the way, at the end of the show, Jasper found out he had a special ability to he had found a way to fight crime while sleepwalking and also speaking Spanish. So that's what he's doing at this point. But Charlotte is not there. Charlotte was the other character. She doesn't show up in this. I don't know if she was busy or she doesn't want to come back. I don't know. But the three of them, the last we saw of them in the finale of Henry Danger is that they were all fighting crime in Dystopia. And she just doesn't come back. But, yeah. Schwoz and Piper, which is Henry's younger sister, and Schwoz is sort of he's the gadget man. He's the Q. They're on vacation and they're going to Dystopia to visit Henry and Jasper. And Henry has gotten full of himself because now he's the sponsor for the Biz Watch. Just for reference, Henry wore a Riz watch for most of Henry Danger's run that would allow him to communicate with Captain Man. Now he's got a Biz Watch and he's got to work in business to everything because he's one big corporate sponsor monkey guy who, yeah, he's just about the money and is ready to kick Jasper to the curb because he wants to do things on his own because he's getting full of himself. And I'm sitting there watching this, I go, oh, so the whole thing is going to be he's going to find out that Jasper was a better friend and he's going to learn a lesson. That's exactly what happened. So Missy Martin uses that machine. By the way, we get this right away. We get this whole scene of someone who looks like Kid Danger breaking into the Evil Corp, kicking people's butts, and they're in a Kid Danger mask, and it's revealed to be Missy. But I'm like, that's a pretty good. You could swear that was Henry when he was 15 before puberty really hit him. Because once puberty hit him, he's tall. I think he's taller than Captain Man was. But yeah. So yeah, then when they first showed the trailer, I was like, okay, we're missing Captain Man, we're missing Charlotte. Well, I've since learned that in the finale of Danger Force, Ray retired and got married. So, but that doesn't really connect to the ending of this. We'll get to that, but yeah. So she's not only brought him back from the dead or to him. She's now created a universe where these stories that she wrote about her and Kid Danger. So now their sidekick and superhero And the main villain in their fight is this super-powered gym coach for some reason. And so Henry fighting him, but he has no powers here. In the finale, he got the power to create force fields. And he also had hypermobility in one of his arms. But like he has nothing here. And so he sort of gets his butt kicked. But then Missy saves the day, defeats him. And then they kind of get thrown into other stories, like where Jasper is a mustache-wearing superhero who always quotes his mustache. I mustache you a question. Yeah, and he can fly. And Henry is his sidekick, Lord Lolly, just like one of those little boys. Get a task, that's my little bag. That one with the big lollipop as his weapon, but it's just a cardboard lollipop or whatever, a plastic lollipop that doesn't do anything. Yeah, they're also at Frank Keeney's. If you don't know, Frank Keeney is one of the villains. He was a social media influencer who turned to a life of crime, and may or may not be Kat's brother from Victorious, because his henchman was Goomer from Sam and Cat. And he says, well, I used to hang out with Frank Keeney's sister, but now I'm with him. So it's implied that Cat is his sister, and that he's the weird brother she kept talking about in Victorious. I don't know, but he's performing at this nightclub, and Schwoz is there in this world. He talks like this, because he's a dishwasher, and he's because usually Schwoz talks like this with a very weird accent, but now he's talking like this, hey. And like, can you fix this? Yeah, I can fix it, but there's supposed to be a little crystal. Also, I forgot to mention in her stories before they switch over, there is an electric vampire that slinks around, and it's revealed to be Piper, a version of Piper from her stories. So, yeah. So now he has to find a way to get back to where things were. They're missing a little red crystal thing that apparently dropped when they were in that story, and now the vampire has it. And when they switch to another universe, they bring Frank Keeney with them. They go to animated world where Frank Keeney is a cow, a unicorn cow, and then they end up back in that world, and Frank Keeney gets turned into a vampire. Fang Keeney. And I'm like, where the hell is Goomer? I wish Goomer was in this. So then they have to jump again. This time, who's with them? Someone else is with them and turns into a... Maybe they don't. Is it Schwoz? No. Someone goes with them and is also the cow now. I don't remember who. But they jump, and they're now this world where the maple syrup has become it's almost extinct, and they're at the last of it, and they're trying to fight off these Canadian Mountie people who are trying to steal it. She wrote this, I don't know. And he and Jasper are like the last line of defense, and they're trying to fight him off. And hold on, why don't I just look on here to see if... Hold on. What? That's on the wrong one. All right, hold on. Where's the... Survivalist Jasper, Canadian Mounties. Hold on. Vampire. Reality. This one. 80s themed nightclub where they encounter an alternate version of Frank Keeney, Piper, and Jasper, who operates as Captain Stash. Yeah, that's his name. And the Rad has locked them into story mode, forcing them to time travel through Missy's stories. Okay. They need the crystal from vampires. This is where they find out from the other Schwoz that they need it. Vampire has it. So, Yeah. Kind of reading. So they go back to Newtown where she's from, and they find out that Van Piper, the coach, and Fankini have Missy's little sister, played by her real sister. So that's something. So now they gotta try to save her, the sister, and while Schwoz, post-apocalyptic Schwoz, tries to fix the machine and get. So they gotta get the thing, put it back, and yeah. One thing I didn't like, Coach Craig, which is the coach character, he has this whistle that just sort of messes with people's ears. Yeah, they're able to get the crystal to Schwoz, puts it in the machine, and restores reality. Henry does get bit, I think, but I don't think it. No, she gets bit. That's right. She gets bit and turns into a vampire. That's right. Missy gets bit because throughout the movie she keeps saying distraction tactic or something, and he's like, "You're not doing it right. You have to make them think they succeeded at something, and then completely twist it." So she does that by making them think that the bitter she's gonna turn, but she gets the crystal, gives it to Schwoz, and he's able to restore reality. Realities are switched back to normal. He goes back to Dystopia, and he apologizes to Jasper, and they defeat Blackout, who was the villain they were going after at the beginning of the thing, by the way. And Jasper gets the credit and a date with Detective Jones, who I was confused because I'm like, isn't she like? I thought she was maybe in her 40s. Maybe that's just the lighting. I don't know, but she's like flirting with Jasper, they're in their 20s at this point, but I guess it's legal. It's just weird. I thought she was maybe she's in her 30s. I don't know. I didn't know. Who's the actress, by the way? Let's look. Of course she doesn't have a freaking page or anything. Rachel Dratch. Let us Google her name, shall we? Search the web. I don't want to see that. Can I? Huh? I want to search can I just... What? I don't want a topic. I just want to search. You stupid. What? No. Fine, I'll do it up here then. What hell was it now? Rachel Dratch? Of course it shows me Rachel Ziegler. Of course it's showing me Dratch. That's not her name. Rachel Dratch. Search. IMDb. She's attractive, but let's see. Put age just to see. Age. Born in the early 1990s. Well, that's... She's between 25 and 30 years old, I guess. It doesn't say. Age, late 20s. That's all it's telling me. Alright, so... I don't know. She doesn't look much older than them, and they're in their early... Because, like, Jason Norman is, like, 24. He's 25. Okay. So I guess that works. He's 25. Sean Ryan Fox plays. He doesn't have a page. It just goes to his character name. Anyway, so they reconcile. Hey, we're cool. And Henry's like, you got this now. You're on your own. Dude, I'm sitting here going, you have superpowers, and all he could do is sleep Spanish fight. Because Schwoz takes him to Missy, where Missy is, and so they're gonna be superhero and sidekick now, and it shows them. They teleport again to fight something, and they see someone. And William and I just looked at each other and smiled because we knew who it was. I already knew it was because, internet spoiling. But he figured it out. We see someone fighting, we see a silhouette, and we just kind of look at each other and smile. And he comes up and goes, and Henry goes, Captain Man, hey kid, I need your help. And that's where it ends. So there's been some sort of hypothesis with this where it's like, are they setting up for another spin-off? Because nothing's been announced yet. It's not like when they ended Falcon and Winter Soldier with Captain America 4 is coming out. It's just, maybe this was a bid for a spin-off. I don't know. I assume if they do a spin-off, it's going to be like direct to Paramount Plus. There's no... Hold on. Is there anything on here? Film reception, release. It just... During the credits, Alden Franchini is seen performing in the 80s theme club because that's what he wanted to do. I don't know. But this was like a long time coming because they announced it before when the show was still on the air before Danger Force came. And then when that ended and Danger Force showed up, they gave up hope. They're like, we don't think it's going to happen. But it happened. So they're able to get something going. And clearly they have other ideas. I'm going to say it's pretty good. I think this might have been, when it comes to the crime fighting aspect, this is the superhero show we should have gotten for 5 years instead of trying to be all funny and goofy with it. I like the show, but this was something else. This actually had seriousness. There wasn't a lot of... Because a lot of the stuff in the show was, we start out serious and it leads to a punchline. There was some funniness to this, but it was pretty much grounded in what it was doing. So if the spin-off they're going to do is like this movie, I'm in. Because to me this feels like, there are fans out there who grew up, like my son, who grew up with Henry Danger. Henry Danger's now grown up. Maybe we should be a little bit more, a little more serious type things, Take it like this. It's like Beast Wars. That was a goofy Transformers show, and then when they went to Beast Machines, that was serious as hell. And I kind of like Beast Machines a little bit more because of the seriousness. Sometimes it's goofy, but I still prefer Beast Wars. But I'm just saying. But yeah, this was good. I enjoyed it. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Henry Danger the movie? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.